In this video, I'm going to be showing you 4 methods on how to duck your audio within Premiere Pro. If you're unfamiliar with what audio ducking is, well, let me just roll some footage of some ducks. And what you're listening to right now is audio ducking. I lowered the volume of the music, or I ducked the volume of the music when my voiceover came in. And then when my voiceover is finished, the volume of the music will return to its previous level, like this. So if you want to learn how to duck your music underneath your VO inside Premiere Pro, let's get all our ducks in a row and start this tutorial. Method 1, manually keyframing the volume clip level. These top 3 clips are my VO, and this bottom clip is my music. Before making any keyframes, we want to make sure that we're looking at the clip volume. Right-click, go to Show Clip Keyframes, Volume, and by default, it's probably going to be set to level, which is what we want, but if it's not, this is where you would find it. With the selection tool, I'm going to hold Command on Mac or Control on Windows, and as I bring the mouse close to the line on the clip, you can see that there's this little plus sign that pops up. Click on my mouse and that creates one keyframe. This first keyframe is to maintain the volume before it. Then I'm gonna set another keyframe where I want it to end up at. And before I lower the volume, I'm gonna go to the end where I want it to come back up to the same volume that it was previously, create a keyframe right here, and create another keyframe where it will end up. Now, if I click and drag on this middle line and bring it down, the volume will stay up right here, go down to about -20, and then go back up to 0 where it was at before. This is an example of ducking the music while I'm talking. That's manually keyframing the music. The only time I would really do it this way is if I only had to duck the music once and then bring it back up at the end. This may have other uses, but personally, over the course of my editing career, this is the way that I duck audio the least, if that makes sense. One method that I do use more of is to add edits and use audio gain. So with this method, we create little slits right here in the audio, and then we adjust the gain of the specific clip in between the audio. I'm gonna move the playhead to where I want it to go, and then I'm going to add an edit right here on the clip, or you could use the razor tool to add your edits, whatever's best for you. Now I'm going to highlight the clip in between these 2 clips, right click and go to audio gain. Now I'm going to adjust my gain by -20 dB, highlight my 2 clips, hit Shift Command D on Mac or Control Shift D on Windows to create crossfades in between those 2. So visually, I like doing this method better than manually keyframing. If you have a huge timeline that you're looking down on, it's much easier to physically see audio waveforms go up and down as opposed to looking at keyframes on clips. If you want to adjust something like this, I could double click and maybe do a 1.5 transitions. I can adjust the timing of where this fade happens by using the rolling edit tool right here. So here's what it sounds like now. This is an example of ducking the music while I'm talking. Lots of versatility here, and again, I prefer doing it this way of clip gain because I can physically see the audio waveforms. But one thing I will admit is this way and doing manual keyframing can still be a little bit tedious. So that's why Premiere Pro has built into the Essential Sound panel a ducking feature. Let me show you. If you're unfamiliar with the Essential Sound panel, it basically works by tagging your different audio clips by sound effects, dialogue, music, and ambience. And then you can add effects to those groups of clips inside the panel. Let me show you what I mean. To begin with, if you don't see the Essential Sound panel, you need to go to Window and Essential Sound. From there, we need to tag our audio clips. So like before, we have these 3 VO clips, or in this case, we're going to label them as dialogue. So I have them highlighted, and right here, I need to assign a tag to the selection to enable editing options. So I'm gonna click dialogue. Now these have been tagged as dialogue. I have the music clip down here, and I'm going to tag that as music. With the music clip still highlighted, look at this option that we have right here. I'm going to check ducking. Now you can duck your music against the dialogue, other music, sound effects, ambience, or just clips that aren't tagged at all. Since I've already tagged all of my dialogue clips, I'm going to duck against my dialogue. There are 3 parameters that you can adjust. Sensitivity, which sets the threshold that triggers the ducking on the clip. The duck amount, which is how many decibels you're going to turn down the volume of the clip by, and fades, which sets the fade timing and duration. So like before, I'm gonna do my duck amount -20 dB, and to give you an idea of what sensitivity does, I'll move this to the middle and hit generate keyframes. Boom. Look at that. Instead of manually keyframing all of those volume adjustments, we have them right here on the clip. Now, if I were to take the sensitivity and lower it all the way to 0 and hit generate keyframes, there's no ducking that occurs. If I take the sensitivity and put it all the way to 10, hit generate keyframes, notice how it ducks the music once and waits until all of my VO is done and then brings the music back up. If you want a happy medium in between no ducking and too much, just move the sensitivity fader to however you like and hit generate keyframes until you find what you like. This is an example of ducking the music while I'm talking. Anytime I speak, the volume of the music goes down. And when I stop talking, the volume of the music goes up. So if you're new to Premiere Pro, this method of ducking audio is probably the easiest and most efficient to implement. But there is one more method that I wanted to show you that may be useful in some situations. Right now, it's probably hard to understand what I'm saying because the person that's also singing in the background music is competing with my voice. So one effect to help combat this is a low pass filter. Sounds like we're underwater, right? But you can probably hear my voice so much clearer now. This is just one little trick that I like to use if I have to use a background track that has vocals in it. By cutting off all of the mid and high end frequencies from our music, my voice can cut through the mix. Let me show you how to do it. The first thing that I'm gonna do is duck the volume like we've been doing. So I'm gonna go and manually make keyframes on my music track. So now to do our low pass filter, we're gonna go to our effects window. If you don't see it, just go to Window, Effects, type in low pass, and underneath filter and EQ, I'm gonna click and drag this low pass filter onto my music. What we're gonna be doing is keyframing this along with the volume keyframes that we've already done. So I'm gonna move my playhead here to where I have the music going down. So I don't want my low pass filter to start with the default number that it came with. I want it to actually act as if it's not there in the first place. So I'm gonna take my cutoff and raise it all the way to 20,000 plus hertz. Then I'm going to hit my stopwatch where my first keyframe needs to go. And obviously when he hits the water, we want to go down, and as it passes through, we're going to make another keyframe, and in here I'm going to type 500. I find that that's pretty much the sweet spot when using this effect. Anything above 500, I find that it still competes a little bit with the frequencies that are present in a voice or dialogue. So I'm going to move my playhead over here to my next keyframe where my volume is, and hit this node to create another keyframe and move my playhead to where we want to restore it. And now I want to raise this back up so we have all of the frequencies present in the frequency spectrum. So it's this 20,000 plus hertz frequency. And now we get something like this. Hey, this is where my VO is going to go. Isn't that neat? So neat. If any of these methods will help you out in your edits, please let me know in the comments down below. If you're new here, my name's Javier Mercedes, and I do video tech tutorials and gear reviews on this channel. If that's your thing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I got some more videos on the screen if you want to check them out. Until next time, I hope you're out there living a life of abundance. Bye.
Love it, how you love me electric.